All right, hello everybody. Hello Oilers fans or any fan, whoever you are. Welcome to my channel or welcome back if this is not your first time here. Today we are doing our post-game recap for Game 4 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. I am rocking the Connor McDavid Four Nations Face-Off Canada jersey right now. It's a little bit big on me. I don't know why. I ordered a size bigger than I usually do. I don't know why. Not like a medium to a large, but like in hockey jerseys, you have like your 44, your 46 and stuff. I think I ordered like a 46 when I usually wear a 44. I don't know why. Anyways, um, I feel like this video is not going to be that long. There isn't a whole lot to talk about, which is kind of a good thing, to be completely honest with you. I feel like you have a lot to talk about if you're a Vegas Golden Knights fan. But in the case of the Oilers, there's not that much to say. I mean, Edmonton played a really, really solid game. This was the exact type of game that they needed to have following a heartbreaking loss in Game 3. I will pull up the lineup just so that I don't forget to mention anybody, just so that I can see everyone's names. I also will probably pull up the hockey stat card somewhere on the screen while I talk about the lines and the different players so that you guys can get an advanced stat visualizer for how everyone played. Just keep in mind that these advanced stat cards are not like 100% accurate in any capacity. I believe last game Leon Draisaitl was ranked at number 2 on the stat card as like the second best player on Edmonton. That is just so wrong. Draisaitl did not have a good game whatsoever in Game 3, but yet was ranked so high. So just always, you take those. You're supposed to take those and mix that number with mix the stat card number with the eye test. That's the best way to go about it. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this lineup pulled up on my laptop. Surprise, surprise, I'm not 100% prepared for a video, but what's new? We can start off with Stuart Skinner. Obviously, the number one story for this game is how good Stuart Skinner played. A shutout. He faced, I believe, 21 shots in this game. Let me double check that. 23 shots. 23 shots, 23 saves. He also made some absolutely huge ones. He made a crazy good save on, I think it was Barbashev on the breakaway early on in the game when it was still 1-0 Edmonton. That was a huge save. He made numerous. He was absolutely stellar today. And, I'm not going to sit here and ask and tell you guys that we need to get that level of goaltending from Stuart Skinner every game because that's just not true. We don't need Stuart Skinner to get a shutout every single game. We shouldn't need Stuart Skinner to make like 4 or 5 miraculous saves every game. It's great when he does that. It's great when any goalie does that. But all we want from Stuart Skinner is 900 save percentage or above every game, minimum. Like if we could get that consistently, the Edmonton Oilers will have a much easier time in completing their goal of trying to win the Stanley Cup this year. And unfortunately, Skinner hasn't really been able to provide that for us this year much at all. But he played great last game, and I believe Stuart Skinner now has the greatest Game 4 goals against average in the history of the NHL. I think it's a 1.31 goals against average in Game 4s in his career. Now, obviously, that's a small sample size. He played Game 4 against LA last year. He didn't play Game 4 against Vancouver. That was Pickard. He played Game 4 against Dallas, Game 4 against Florida. The year before that, he would have... I think he got pulled in Game 4 of the LA series in 2023, because was that not the game where Edmonton came back from like down 3-0 or something and won in overtime? And I think Jack Campbell had like a really good game that game, getting put in net. But anyways, he has a really good save percentage, or not save percentage, goals against average in Game 4s. So, more power to him, man. Obviously I feel bad like ripping on the guy. I really like Skinner as a person. Like Skinner seems like a really good dude, and he's one of those guys that you want to see him succeed, but we're 10 years into the Connor McDavid era, and the Oilers don't have a Stanley Cup yet. So you need everybody to be at their best. And that's why this fan base is so harsh on guys that aren't playing at their best, because it gets frustrating. And it always seems like there's like one thing that the Oilers can never get every year in the playoffs, and it holds them back. And this year, so far, it's been the goaltending. But if Stuart Skinner can play the way he played last game to some capacity moving forward, Edmonton everything will get significantly easier. There were some lineup changes. So McDavid was with Hyman and Nuge. Now, this is one of their go-to lines. These three guys play together quite often. I've been very impressed with Zach Hyman's game in this second round. I think he's finally healthier as opposed to how he was to start the series against start LA. Nuge, Nuge either has amazing games or not, games where you don't really notice him too much. I would say last night was a game where I didn't sit there thinking to myself, wow, Nuge played fantastic today. But Nuge is always doing little things that have a big effect on the game, so you always got to cut the guy some slack. Second line, completely new look. We had Draisaitl centering Kapanen and Podkolzin, Kapanen slotting in for Victor Arvidsson. Before we move on to those guys, Leon Draisaitl with a much better performance last game. If you're from the TikTok and you watched my post-game video about the Oilers on there last night, I forgot to mention Draisaitl. Draisaitl had a really good game today despite not getting any, or yesterday night, despite not getting any points. As long as Draisaitl is having good shifts where he's generating offense and making things happen, it's okay if he doesn't get points. Kapanen was absolutely hammering guys yesterday, which was amazing to see. I thought that what Kapanen brought to the game yesterday was better than anything Arvidsson's brought to the playoff game so far. So for me, I'm keeping Kapanen in the lineup right now. And then Podkolzin just continues to work his tail off every single game, man. I am so happy with what we've gotten from Podkolzin this year. I know he hasn't, he's not getting all kinds of points, but the guy is such a workhorse. He's a good defensive forward. He throws the body. He makes smart plays. You can't ask for that much, man. And I've been so happy with what we've gotten, especially when we only had to give up a 4th-round pick. And this second line did such a good job of shutting down the Eichel-Stone line, a really, really good job. So that's a matchup I'll be interested to see if Knobloch tries to get going in the remaining games of this series. Moving down in the lineup, we have the third line, which was the best line yesterday, our goal-scoring line. Henrique had 2 goals. Both in the first period, and then Evander Kane had 1 in the second. Although that was I think a late line change because it was assisted by McDavid. But Adam Henrique had a fantastic game, absolutely fantastic. Probably the best Oilers forward all around. His second goal was absolutely filthy. I didn't realize at first until they showed the replay, but he actually puts his stick between his legs and shoots the puck through his legs. That was super impressive, especially for a guy like Henrique. I didn't really think he had that in his toolbox at this stage in his career. Connor Brown is Connor Brown, man. He's similar to Podkolzin in the sense that I just absolutely am so satisfied with his game pretty much every time he plays a playoff game. And then Evander Kane I mentioned. Fourth line, Janmark, Perry, and Frederick. Didn't really notice them last night, to be honest. I'm kind of shocked that Perry got put down on the fourth line after having a 2-goal game. I know it wasn't done in a demotional sense where you're oh, you're getting demoted to the fourth line because you haven't been playing good. Obviously, that's not the case. It was just they were trying to switch something up. Now, the D pairings. This was the best D pairings I think we could have had. Kulak with Bouchard. I don't know why it took Knobloch this long to put that together. Nurse with Stetcher. Stetcher seems to be the only guy that can make Nurse not look like a liability. And then Wallman and Klingberg, who have been playing great since that pairing was put together. Amazing decor last night. Didn't allow any goals, obviously, so you can't complain. And just to talk about it now so I don't forget, I believe Knobloch today mentioned that Ekholm is a possibility for next round in the event that we get to next round. And the question obviously is, what do you do with your decor when you bring Ekholm back? And to be completely honest with you, I could see a world where Edmonton goes 11-7, 11 forward, 7 defensemen to keep Stetcher and Klingberg in the lineup. You're not taking Klingberg out the way he's playing right now. If they choose to stick with 12-6, I think you take Stetcher out and you put Ekholm on Nurse's pairing and then have Kulak play with Bouchard. That way you still have a babysitter for Darnell Nurse and you still have a good defensive defenseman playing with Bouchard. But I really like these lines, and it's one of those situations, again, where Knobloch, when he makes line changes mid, playoffs, the changes always are positive. Somehow the guy just knows what to do with his lines. It is great. I bashed on Knobloch a little bit throughout the year because he kept changing the lineups like every game, and it was getting really annoying. I'll give the guy his credit in the playoffs. He always puts together smart line matchups that tend to benefit the Oilers quite well. Getting into the goals now, I'll put them up on screen like we did for the first post-game video of this series. Henrique, the first one, Connor Brown picks a guy's pocket behind the net, puts it out right in front for Henrique. I mean, there's like no chance you're not scoring on that opportunity. Second goal, like I mentioned, was the one where Henrique puts it through his legs. But obviously, the thing that most people are talking about from this moment is Evander Kane running over Adin Hill. I understand that he was pushed from behind by McNabb, but I do think Kane throws himself a little bit. And you know what, man? Go ahead. Like, I would do the same thing. I still can't believe he's the only guy that got a penalty on that play, but you're doing exactly what you should be doing if you're Evander Kane. You're scoring goals, you're getting assists, and you're throwing hits, and you're making things happen. You're being a pest. That's exactly what Kane did. And then speaking of Kane, he scores off an amazing breakout pass by Evan Bouchard to McDavid. Super risky, but super rewarding. Then McDavid up to Kane, and this was a terrible goal by Adin Hill. Like, that goal was scored 7 minutes and 38 seconds into the second period. Vegas was very much still in that game when that goal happened. Like, you need Adin Hill to make that save if you're Vegas, so that's a frustrating one. And that's it for the scorecard. 3-0 win. Not a lot of goals going on. Still an exciting game, though. I will say that. This was super great. Obviously, now we look forward to game 5 in Vegas tomorrow. A little bit nerve-wracking. I can't sit here and tell you guys I have the best feeling about the game. I don't expect Vegas to die easy. So to have to go into their building and win another game is quite interesting to think about. Like, you guys need to remember, Edmonton has won both games in Vegas so far in this series. So do they really go into Vegas in a game 5 elimination scenario and get the win to get rid of Vegas? I guess time will tell. It'll be interesting to see how that happens for sure. I'd like to think they're going to look motivated and play another, like, string together another good game. So we'll see what happens. And I'll say this again, and it's a really good thing that we're still having this conversation. Talking about how McDavid and Draisaitl need to have a game where they, like, take over. And they haven't done that yet. Except McDavid kind of did do it in game 1 against the Kings. But the longer that the Oilers go before needing a takeover game for McDavid and Draisaitl, the better. The more rest that these guys can get, and obviously they're not, they're playing the game, so they're not resting. But you think about last year, McDavid and Draisaitl were absolutely gassed by the time we got to game 6 and 7 of the Stanley Cup final because they had to overexert themselves so much just to get there. This year, the way things are going so far with all the depth scoring that Edmonton has been getting and managing to win games on the back of our bottom 6, that's huge in the long run. That means McDavid and Draisaitl aren't exerting themselves that much. They should have a lot of energy saved up for that, for any deep run that we might go on. Obviously, we're still a ways away from having that conversation, but it's a good thing to look at right now, and it's a major, major, major positive. So hopefully the Oilers can pick up the win next game. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I don't really think I'm forgetting anything major that happened in yesterday's game that I should talk about. No, I think I kind of covered it all. I mean, I also made a TikTok, so there's a few things I shared there, although I do reciprocate the same thoughts here in these videos for those of you that don't watch TikTok. But this is an absolutely stellar game from the Oilers. Again, major props to Stuart Skinner on his performance. Let's hope these guys can get it done tomorrow night, get some rest before the conference finals in the event that we get there. Don't want to jinx anything. Knock on wood. But just an amazing game. And it's actually good when you don't have a lot to say about an Oilers game because it usually means that they actually did their job. Like, everyone played good yesterday. I'd have a hard time picking out one guy that I thought had a bad game yesterday. So that is a huge plus. And yeah, we'll move forward to game 5 now. I will again be here on YouTube doing a post-game video for it. My TikTok will be linked in the description if by chance you're not finding this video from my TikTok. and it just came up on your recommended YouTube page. I do have a TikTok. I post a lot more on there. I tend to post just more general content on there regarding hockey. Here on YouTube, I'm sticking more to Oilers stuff because I don't want to upload 5-minute YouTube videos. Considering I can ramble on about the Oilers forever, it made more sense to focus on them for the YouTube videos. But if you guys want more hockey-related content from me, that's on my TikTok, which is in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. If you like the video, feel free to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments below and what your predictions are for the rest of the series. And I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe. That would be absolutely fantastic. I always appreciate any support. And I will catch all of you guys in the next one.